Alright, so here we are, week after Labor Day. Penguins are fully relaxed after their nice holiday. And so what are we doing? Well, we're honing. And I hone every day. I hone on the weekend. Sometimes I hone until like ridiculous hours in the morning. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. Anyway, so what I got out here today is this Copa, Nakayama Sahi Kan. These are ring pattern, the Kan over here, just coming in on the edge along this one side. And Sahi, right, is the greenish color. And there's a nice piece of stone, you know. And look again. Here we go. We got some chisel marks, right? Nice. Got a interesting, weird cut down here. It's very strange. And over here, Kawa, you know. And I know someone out there is probably saying, but Keith, there's no black skin with sparkles in it. How do you know it's from Nakayama? Because I heard that all Nakayama stones have sparkles in black skin. Well, it's from Nakayama because the guy I got it from told me it's from Nakayama, and he's got no reason to make that up. I'm on good terms with him, and I trust him explicitly. And you know, as far as that black skin with the sparkle thing, that's a load of bullshit, is what that is. Okay, so yeah, I said it. So anyway, so I got this Copa, you know, and people, you know, what's a Copa, right? Sometimes you see a small stone called a Copa, you know. Other times you see a stone like this, which is really not so small, and it's called a Copa. Now, traditionally, you know, there is an absolute definition that the Copa is an irregular shape, an irregularly shaped stone. You know, a lot of Copa will have a shape, you know, like this, where it's like, you know, you don't have a lot of angles, but you can have angles on the Copa. You know, if you have a regular stone, full-size stone, regular, this is not a Copa, this is a bench stone, right? Toishi, tenon toishi. Natural stone, natural whetstone. Natural grinding stone, I believe, actually. Whatever, you know, I don't get that crazy over this stuff. Here's another, you know, this is a Copa, right? It's not rectangular, right? And it's a Nagura, right? It's a 300 something gram tenju that I use sometimes. Sometimes I use it as a stone to hone on, and sometimes I use it to make slurry. And you have a stone, you got this one here, and you know, this has two angle cuts over here, and you can see that there was some weirdness with the cut. I don't know what went on there. I got some saw marks, whatever, but again, here you go. Here's that like strange angular thing on the bottom there. I would call this a Copa. I might call this a Copa. I might call it a giant Tomo Nagura. I definitely call this a Copa. This is definitely a Copa. This is actually a really nice, very skinny. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. It's a great slurry stone. I call this a Nagura because it's Macau Nagura. But you could say it's a Copa. And like this, okay, angle sides, but not rectangular. I would call this a Copa too, you know. But somebody who's really anal might be like, no, it's got to have like weird shapes. Whatever. Does it matter? You know? I don't think so. Anyway, so like what's the deal with these odd shaped stones? And, you know, stuff like this will, comparatively, let's just say this was a perfect, you know, like let's say this cut wasn't like this. It came straight, you know, to here, right? And it would cost more. It would be more expensive. So the minute you have like this non-right angle cut, the value, the price is usually a little lower. Now, sometimes that price is offset because if the stone is like really thick, you know, it might not seem cheaper. Okay, so it's all relative. All right. Sometimes people don't like Copa because they're a little different. They say I'm honing here, but I got all this extra space. Other people, myself included, when you have an angle like this helps keep your toe wear down. It can help. Okay, it can help. It doesn't mean it's gonna help. It doesn't mean anything's gonna really change. You know, don't go looking for a giant isosceles triangle stone for this. But you know, you can see that this blade already has like some smiling stuff going on with toe wear. It's got a warp. It's got problems. Whatever. It's old. It's beat up. It's been honed to hell. So anyway, so you can see what happens is the heel is on the stone, but then the toe will come off. So normally what happens, the toe is on the stone longer than the heel, but on a stone like this, you're reducing the amount of time the toe is up there. So theoretically, it's going to wear a little less. Theoretically, right? You know, chill with that. You know, don't make yourself nuts over this idle banter that goes on the internet. You know, truthfully, it is a very high quality stone. It has a couple of flaws. I don't think you can really see it, but up here there's like a little squiggle, you know, one of those little squiggly lines that Mother Nature throws at us sometimes, especially in harder stones. You see it. Besides that, there's a, where are you? You gotta believe me, it's in here somewhere. I think here it is, right here by my thumb. You probably can't see it really too well at all, but it's like this weird goma thing. It's soft, it's innocuous, there's a piece of mica in there, but it's like a little tiny pothole. It doesn't matter, you know. There's a couple of Sioux flakes in there, a whole bunch of goma going on, no. Couple of other, you know, little squiggles in the stone. So like it's not this perfect piece of rock, you know, but I like it. I like it a lot. It's really hard, you know, and it's not super hard. And yes, I love super hard stones, but a very hard, a very, very hard, or a very hard is still a very good thing indeed. I just like to hone different ways, and having a super hard stone around is something I look for. Anyway, so I got this stone out, and I figured I'd hone a little bit, talk a little bit about it, talk about koppas, mention a couple of things that transpired after the last video, because it's never a dull moment here. Anyway, so here I am using this giant Tomo Nagura. See what happens when you have a big Tomo. You go almost completely across the stone. It keeps your wear down. It can't keep your wear down. A little, well, it doesn't keep it down, but it makes it a little more even. You know what I'm saying? All right, because if you're only rubbing here, you're going to wear this spot. You're going to rub only over here, you're going to wear that down. So when you're using something like this, it's easier to cover more of the stone. And by the way, this is an amazing aside. Look at the color change in that, right? It went from like a pale green to this like olive drab thing, like boom, you know? Anyway, sorry, that's just me getting excited over stones. It's a little thirsty. See how it dries up? Yeah, it's a little softer, this baby. There's a piece of Takashima. I got two. I got a Kita that I just put on Etsy, and then I got this one. I mess with the Kita a whole lot. And I use this one a lot too. And this will find its way to Etsy also, but I just have this one on my bench right now because I want to have a big one out, and I like having large Naguras out. Anyway. So back to this, right? I'll keep it wet. So, you know, you get yourself a Koppa, sometimes it costs less. So what happens when you have an odd shape? Well, nothing really happens. You don't have to get crazy, you know, about the shape, at least not on this one. If I had something more irregular, it would probably be a better demonstration over about the irregularities in the stone, right? But, you know, you just move around the stone. You know, it's not a big deal, right? You may only want to work on two sides or two edges or only one edge, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You'll just have to lap a little bit more, you know. you'll see how, like, if I'm going to go on a corner, I come off a little bit just to try and like keep the wear going how I want. I naturally rotate stones anyway. It's just like a thing that I do. You don't always see it in the videos because I might be thinking too much about the video, but if I'm honing, you know, on my own here at night, I'll be flip-flopping the stone all the time. Keep the wear more evenly. Anyway, so what we have here is like a hard satin type of feel. There's a slight bit of grain to the feedback, but it went to right from grain. It went right to a slick type of grain. I don't know. It's not slick like clay mud. Okay, it's not like that. Clay mud type of thing is like that real greasy type of feel. This isn't like greasy at all. It's not like a chocolate bar either. All right, there's just this little bit of texture that's sticking its head up that kind of reminds me of satin, but in this case I feel like the satin is much harder than it would be on some other stones, and you know, that's speaking for the hardness of the stone. The density here is tremendous. The speed is very good, and unlike a lot of other stone Tomo combos, I don't have a full transgression from one field to another as I hone along. I can keep honing with this slurry and it almost feels the same when I'm done as it does right now. Changes a little bit, like I mentioned, out of the gate, but some stones it goes from like, you know, crispy, grainy type of thing, and then at the end it's like this crazy slick, you know, mud between your toes sensation. Not this one. Anyway, so yeah, a couple of things happened with the last video. Some guy went batshit in the comments. I had to delete it. He embarrassed himself, actually. That's why I delete stuff like that. Like, you know, who wants to see that floating around 10 years from now? You know, I get the guys are like passionate about something and everybody has a valid opinion, and apparently he didn't enjoy a couple of the things I was talking about, and because of that I can assume that I must have hit a nerve. So I don't know, maybe he's one of the guys or friends with one of the guys that came into the world of shaving with the intention of making money. I don't know, and there's not really anything wrong with that. It's just like, I don't know, when you're taking advantage of people and you're lying to people, then I get like annoyed. And there's so many people with that agenda thing that just, instead of developing themselves, you know, organically and naturally, they just took the low road and the back door and treated people like crap in an attempt to promote themselves. And like, that's what I'm really against, you know. Capitalism is what it is, you know. I sell a couple of pieces of stone here and there, but that almost started by accident. I started out selling stuff on a forum just because I had boatloads of stones, mostly barber hones. In the very beginning, I was getting like these $5 and $7 raises. You could do that back then, and semi-restoring them and then honing them, and that's how I was building up my honing chops. And God, I went through hundreds of them, you know, and barber hones, because I was buying them by the boatload, trying to learn about them. So I'd pair up two blades with a barber hone and I would sell it for like 40 or 50 bucks, and it was no money to be made there. And if I made 10 bucks on that deal, it was a lot. It wasn't worth my time, not for the honing and bevel setting work. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. Now I'm just rambling. Man, this stone feels so good. This is such a nice piece of Nakayama. You know, there's that old school stuff that, you know, there's a lot of stones come around that they're stamped Nakayama, and then you hone on it and you're like, really? Really? That's Nakayama, huh? Nakayama must have had a bad day that day. And that can happen. Sure, it happened. But I tend to think that a lot of stuff that with stamps, especially that stuff on eBay, well, I know for a fact a lot of the stuff on eBay is bullshit. I just recently, someone sent me a link to an eBay auction for a stone with Maruichi stamps, and had like a stamp on the backside, like a single stamp, and then Maruichi was on the top, and it was like, it was so fake. It was like, it was more fake than anything else I ever saw that was fake. It was like super fake. Anyway, yeah, so anyway, this is not that. This is like the real deal. You start honing on stuff, you get a feel for like those older school stones, and you can get an older school stone like cut at an old stock today. Just, it doesn't have to be like yeah, literally something that was cut and boxed like 80 years ago. That's not important. Okay, they're a stone. Remember, the quarries stopped producing rock in the 70s. All right, so anything that we're hitting on today is, generally speaking, it's cut from stock that was quarried before then. They had lockers, they had stockpiles of stuff, and then there's like, other things that go on, and then you have the fake stuff. Like, there's an industry devoted to like producing they counterfeit boxes, all right? Yes, it's true. All right. But not everything in the box is fake. So, you just go round you round with all of that. You put the stone. What matters? What matters is you put the stone down, you hone on it, and if you dig it and you interface well with it, and it's turning out like the job it should, and that's a critical statement right there, because sometimes like a new person isn't really going to know, you know. But if they like it, I guess that's all that matters. Anyway, so this guy went fucking batshit in the comments, and I deleted it, and I had to take measures to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Like, if you got an issue with me or something I said, don't be a dick in the comments, man. That's just stupid. Send me an email. Speak your piece. But airing stuff out like that in public, it's just like, it's obvious. You're trying to embarrass me, and all you do, honestly, is embarrass yourself. So just save yourself the grief, because I am gonna delete it, and I am gonna block you, and that's it. Don't expect everybody to like what I say, but I do expect everybody to act like an adult. And if that Facebook shit is something that you thrive on, then go there and thrive there, because it isn't going to be happening here. I want people to be able to come here and think that they can say stuff and not have some like totalitarian moron out in the wings waiting to come in and talk smack. Okay? I want the newcomer to say something that he's afraid to. I want him to say those things that he's embarrassed over. Like, he's going to ask a question. He's going to be like, oh, I'm sorry if this is a dumb question. There are no dumb questions. I want that guy to ask that question. And it's not going to happen with people, talking smack in the comments. They're all going to back off. So back off. All right, so there's that, and what else went on? Oh, there was a guy who complaining about the length of the video. So, okay, I saved him from having to watch long videos. I deleted his comment, and I blocked him also, and that way he can go find a channel with shorter comments, or rather shorter videos. I don't know. If something takes 20 minutes to do, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Do it in 4 minutes? I mean, come on, man. Yeah, I can make shorter videos, I can, but I don't sometimes, because I like to be complete, and I like to cover a lot of ground, and I really don't do it all that often. So if I do it like once a month, I want to like, throw out as much data as I can, and if that's a bother, well, I'm sorry. Not everybody's gonna like everything everybody does, and there's another thing. There's a pause button. You could just pause it and then come back later. I'm sure a lot of guys do that. I mean, hell, I do it. Yeah, I review my own stuff from time to time. Yeah, okay, so we're at a point now. The slurry is basically broken down to a point of we're done, and we ain't going any further. So I want to take a look at my bevel here. I know what I'm going to see already, because I've honed with this combination numerous times. But, for the sake of like whatever, Yeah. Okay, clean it off. Sometimes first wipe it leaves a lot of streaks and you got some slurry in the streak and you can't see. Yeah, that's beautiful. I have a semi-mirror here, a very semi-mirror finish. I cannot make out clearly. I cannot clearly make out the reflection of my lights over my bench, but it's close. It's a very nice haze, but it's the kind of haze that has a lot of merit in it. It's not haze like smoke or something like, it's not like cloudy water at all. It's more like matte, highly polished steel that you put a matte finish on. Anyway, just wanted to show this Copa off. I wanted to talk about Copas and in general, and just talk a little bit about honing. I like Copas. They usually cost a little bit less money. If this was a full-size stone, it would probably be in the $1,500 range. No, no joke. Seriously, if this was like 8 inches long, without a doubt. Look at the width on this thing. Seriously, what is that? I'm gonna roll it here. It's over 4 inches. So a stone like this, 4 inches wide, 8 inches, 10 inches long, and it's over an inch thick, and it's really Nakayama for real. That would be like a major amount of money. So here we have a usable portion, so the cost is much less. Something like this can still run close to $200 though, but there's a big difference between $200 and $1,500. Anyway, that's just a little bit about Copa. Nothing, no heavy message. Just talked a little bit about the last video's stuff and a couple of rocks here, and people ask sometimes, hey, what's the deal with Copa? Are they like not as good? Yeah, they're every bit as good. If all right, so for example, if I took this right and I cut it like straight across here, and there are people who will do that, right? Right, they'll cut straight across here. They have a nice little rectangular stone, I mean, very super high quality with a perfect cut, and they might try and charge you like $300 for it, and they'll give you some song and dance about finding it in a I don't know, in an air raid shelter or some shit. I'm sorry, that whole story kills me. Anyway, Copa should cost less than it would if it was a full-size stone. Whether or not it's going to cost less than another Copa or another stone depends on other factors. Weight factors in, rarity factors in, quality of the stone, whether or not it's really a finishing stone. Not everything is. There's a lot of tool grade stone, and that stuff is cheap as dirt. When you see a cheap Copa, you see something like this for like $50, then you either found somebody who doesn't know what they have, or he just needs money fast, or it's a tool grade stone. That's basically it. It really can't be anything else, right? Because seriously, a stone like this, it's going to cost a few dollars, right? High quality piece, does a great edge. I'm going to hold on it a little bit more, and eventually it'll get over onto Etsy, but we'll see about that. Anyway, have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Don't forget, this is all about having fun, so no matter what, enjoy what you're doing, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.